Well, folks. Welcome to another episode of Your Monday Motivation, where me and my partner in crime, Chad Levine, superstar lender, superstar coach, Chad Levine, that is, get to kickstart your week. And folks, we are thrilled that you're joining us today. It's always a privilege and an opportunity to do that as well, too. And welcome to the start of the week. Chad Levine, great to see you, buddy. It's
Great
been
to
a
see
minute.
you, man. I know the holidays kick in and things get in the
Yeah.
way, and I'm late to the show today, which I have to apologize. Mondays are road bombs sometimes.
And it can be, and by the way, folks, that which absolutely works. And folks, that's part of the reason that we established this show on Monday in the first place, is because that is a very common situation. The road bombs. I love that
Oh
choice of
yeah,
words,
oh, yeah.
but it's true. So
Yeah.
they are either, whether they're self-induced, whether they are tech issues. I was having a minor tech issue this morning on literally trying to log in. It's like they happen. So the whole purpose and point of this show, again, is to kickstart your week, not to beat you up. So that's the
Kickstart your week late.
here, right?
Kickstart your week late. I'm doing a real good job as the host of this one, I'll tell you.
But again, we ain't beating anybody up with my overly proper grammar. We ain't beating. Oh, I'll even say it better. We ain't beating nobody up. That's my Northeast Philly kicking in, brother. Since the holidays have kicked in and out, so to speak, and we're all back in that back to school mode. How has it felt for you so far in terms of whether it's business as usual, moving the throttle, whatever it is? What's it like for you right now?
I think I'm going to tell you the word that I would use for this year is tough. It's a tough year. I think it's a somber year in the sense that, and I keep telling people this. I feel like we're getting what we thought the pandemic was going to be for business. We're actually getting now. A lot of industries are seeing a very difficult time. I mean, certain industries aren't affected, but others are. In the finance and real estate world, in general, activities not as moving as quickly because there's less change of hands of properties, because buyers aren't buying as quickly, sellers aren't selling because they have good rates, et cetera, et cetera. But what I've learned, John, and I don't know about you, and everyone's different. Some people have been through different economic downturns. Some people haven't, right? And this is a really good lesson for two reasons. Number one, it teaches you to plan accordingly, right? Because the cyclical nature of the economy is inevitable. And you need to understand that it's going to happen. When things are good, something on the flip side, at some point, they're not going to be as good, right? And
exactly.
That's number one. Number two, what I've learned is that when the tough get going, you need to get tougher, right? A lot of people are going to leave industries. A lot of people are going to do things, outside of what they're doing. And John and I had this conversation today. You can either pump the brakes or you can push further on the throttle. I've learned to push further on the throttle.
I see. I think that's really, really important. To me, it's look, so we would be tone deaf if we didn't at least acknowledge. When you use the word somber, and literally, and it's the anniversary of 9/11, and we would be tone deaf to not at least remember. You talked about brutal situations before. They don't get any more brutal than that. Economic downturns, they've occurred too. For me, I remember 2008 really vividly.
There it is.
Really vividly. And it's one of those things where it's like, and I am fishing and not finding. I was privileged enough this past weekend to attend the Lewis Howes leads the Summit of Greatness. By the way, Billy Sniper from Ghana watching the show today. We go global, baby. Billy, thank you, is part of a group, Elevating Mindsets, that stems from this the Summit of Greatness, School of Greatness. That's amazing. Thank you for watching.
And before we get into our or should we do it before? Yeah. I want you to give me your whole summary of the event. I want to know.
I'd love
it now? So, you want to do it now, or do you want to do it?
Why not? Okay. Heck, why not, man? This is where you get thank you for that. Like, so the event is held this past year in Columbus, Ohio. Folks, if you don't know, and you don't have to know, Lewis Howes is one of the most renowned podcast hosts, literally hundreds of millions of streams for his podcast, Greatness, his School of Greatness, the daily inspiration that he hosts. He's one of the most famous interviewers in America. He has interviewed literally everyone in multiple times. He is a highly successful published book author. So it's not just as a business coach. His claim to fame is he asks incredible questions, and he gets anyone and everyone to answer the questions. So that sets up the tone for the event. Lewis has built up a spectacularly successful business model. I find his energy, I find his ability to find people and speak with them amazing. So Lewis had a series of speakers. I'll give them the very beginning for me is this. I go to select events, whether it's high performance coaching events. I work with a high performance coach, whether it is high ticket events, whether it is Summit of Greatness, whether it was in the past, Grant Cardone's 10X event, Tony Robbins. I've done Brendan Burchard. I've done several. The primary selfish reason I go first is who's going to be there? Who, in addition to the speakers, could I meet if I'm willing to put myself out there? So number one, my goal was, who am I speaking with? Who am I going to have the nerve to go up and say hi to? Not just my pals, Secondly, the array of speakers. I'm going to give you one specifically, but there were a series that were working on financial aspects, a series. It really triggered to me, and I'm frantically grabbing at this individual's name, and I'll come back to that in a moment, who talked very specifically about the expectations of financial downturns and the planning and what you need to be doing.
And I didn't even know that was there. You see?
It really, and this guy is another one with hundreds of millions of YouTube followers, seriously successful, and talks about the signs, the markers are there. In terms of, is it coming? Is it already here? Is it coming soon? The markers are in place to tell you it's real. The amount of whether unemployment's receding, but whether interest rates and a number of things are already there. So it was really spellbound. Get your money together, John.
Everybody.
And then get it together, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean hide under a mattress. And by the way, folks, my MO, my fear leads me to pull back. And here's what happens when you do. When you pull back and hide and wait for things to get better, you miss a billion opportunities. Secondly, you don't give yourself a chance. And then your money erodes because you're in hiding. Do you buy the home? Do you refi the home? Do you wait until it's just perfect? And that's hard because you'll never know. So that was a topic that came up, and I'm going to give you one more. There was about 6 or 7 killer speakers. But here was and folks, if you get a moment, Google Inky Johnson, of one of the most powerful success stories. Former football player that lost the use of his, a lot of his one side of his body, his arm and all that stuff like that. And the way that he has been able to recover and create this killer business model. It was such a blast. But I'm going to give you one of my personal favorite that I felt the most emotion and the most drawn. Her name is Jen Sincero. She is 5 years running, 5 years, a New York Times bestselling author. 5 years. If you just Google the word author badass, you will find Jen Sincero. It's a series of books. You are a badass. You are a badass financial person. And she was talking about the sense of, and this is where Chad and I had the conversation earlier, the sense of opening and sharing your gifts and claiming the sense that it is okay to be asking for money or putting yourself in a
is this a good segue for your quote?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do that. Jay. Take me off and let's get JD to do his 2-minute.
I got you.
He's fired up.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, baby. So the quote is actually from Lewis Howes, and let me tie the two together. The quote itself is open and share your gifts. Folks, in this 2-minute drill, and I'm watching the timer as well, too, that with the sense of opening and sharing your gifts, here's what I strongly suggest you don't do. Cower and hide. Waiting for things to be just right. You're in the best mood. It's the right time. It's the wrong time. Folks, the opening of the gifts, the sharing of the gifts, your talents, your skills, what you're bringing to the table, those are your unique gifts. I'm going to tell you because I watched it materialize. Tommy Kenyon. Yeah, baby. Thank you so much for being here. Here's a Summit alum. Yeah, baby. So the fact of the matter is we've all got skills. We've all got talents. How can we sum this up a little bit and then bring Jen Sincero into this? Here's the deal. Number one, you know what your gifts are. Try to figure it out. Here's one of mine because I watched it happen several times. I'm able to evoke emotion when I speak with people, whether it is through the podcast that I host, whether it is through conversations of engaging with people, especially when I'm with them. That sounds arrogant, I know. But for me to continue to hide and act like I don't know it or it doesn't matter cheats other people out of the opportunity. My thought is this from a business perspective, in addition to making a lot of good pals. When somebody feels something, they will do something. You want somebody to make a move, they got to feel like it's the right time. That's the reason it's important to engage. How do I translate that gift into futures? Jen Sincero writing the financial book, talking about claiming the right to be financially successful, not to be afraid of money, not to be thinking you don't deserve it. She talked specifically about the first coaching client she ever got and the rate that was there, how she almost died and she was so far from ready to be putting her business model on the table. She got the nerve. She hired a coach, number one. She set the rate, and that client agreed, and that set the table for a wildly successful career. Boom. I took a few extra seconds to do as well. So anyway, so there you have. Look at Chad Levine looking all studious and ready to roll.
Let me take a look at my notes here. Let me see if all right. So from what I took from this, right? Let me see if so you want to share your gifts with people.
Open and share your gifts.
Open. What is it? So you open it for them.
Acknowledge you have them. Acknowledge that you got them.
So it's like when you go to one of those what do they call those baby showers where they don't wrap the gifts?
Oh my God.
What do they call those things? It's sprinkle, yeah. But like they don't wrap the gifts. The gifts exposed. It's naked.
Okay, great. I don't have kids. You're gonna have to take the lead on this, brother.
I don't know. But basically, you don't wrap. So you're when you say you're opening it, are you telling people what your gift is?
Yeah, you're acknowledging that you have it.
Right.
Number two, you're making people aware that this is the value that you bring to the conversation. This is, to me, it's the clarity of knowing what you offer. How the hell are people going to want to respond to you if they don't know what it is you do?
Is that different than a pitch?
It's different to me in this sense. I believe yes.
Okay.
I believe the fact of the matter is acknowledging what you are able to offer and then sharing the gift, aligning it with people that would actually want or need it. To me, a pitch only works when somebody has the inherent need to want to do something. People do need to buy homes. People do need to get pre-approvals, mortgage rates. They need this stuff. But the fact of the matter is, the emotion often scares people away. Sharing the gift is the fact that acknowledge that you have it. Because how the hell can you? Somebody wants to know what you do, how you can help them,
so and give me an example. Give me a real world example in your world.
Yeah, sure. So I'll be really specific. What I've been told I've been able to do. I'll go from other people that have told me. So I help people think better. I literally help people think better. And when I help people think better, they make better top line business decisions in a real time matter. When it really matters, I can help somebody trigger the sense of knowing the playing field so you make a decision in the time that you need to make it, the right best decision.
So how do you deliver that message to somebody? Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is everybody is coming up on the next big decision. Everybody, when you think about it, right? Again, I'm going off the analogy that you just gave earlier in regards. That's the only reason I'm saying. So the decision is always a sense of I need to do something, whether it's your profession.
John,
yo,
I love you, right?
Love you
too.
You
are so philosophical and so intelligent.
Right.
Let's dummy this down for me, bro.
Yeah.
Dummy this down for me.
We talked about coaching before.
Yeah.
Before we went live, right?
Dummy this down for me. So give me a real life example. I'm gonna put you in the scene, right? You ready?
Yeah.
Where were you this weekend?
Columbus, Ohio.
I'm in Columbus, Ohio. You're at the cheese and wine cocktail party, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's schmoozing around, and you engage in conversation.
All right. Here, I'll give you a great example. Right during the break, one of the things. Oh my God!
Give me that.
If my buddy Dallas is watching the show, he asked. We were talking about things that we've done, and I said to him, "I optimize your communications by leveraging your voice." Here was his response in exact words. Oh shit. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I've been looking for someone to help me in regards to my communications.
How did you tell me how it came up? Tell me how it came up.
I'll give you the 10-second version of how it came up. First, we're talking about Philadelphia. He came from Philadelphia. We're talking about the Phillies. We're talking about Philadelphia, him moving to there as well. When I said to him, you get to Ohio, lives in Ohio. You were in DC. What got you to DC? I do communications work for political candidates and political operatives and what have you. Okay, great. My only other question before we started the communications was literally this. Where do you go from there? What do you want to do to get better? What makes you passionate about how do you want to get better? You know? And from that, he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I optimize your communications by leveraging your voice. And he literally responded back to me. My thought is, how do you do it in 30 seconds?
So are you in essence coaching in that specific moment?
Absolutely.
So if I understand what you're saying to me, right?
Yeah.
You're actually turning communications and conversations into mini coaching sessions.
Always.
So when they walk out of a conversation with you, that makes them think he's the coach I got to hire.
Yes. Not to mention, all correct. And I'll add one more thing, which is when you hear people speak of, you've always got to lead with value. That's what it is. If I am giving narratives, by the way, thanks for the check a minute ago too, right? Because if you're just giving narratives, there's nothing in it for somebody. It is a description. So I love this, and thank you for that. I love.
Otherwise, you're like a walking
resume. You're like a walking resume that nobody reads, right? So nobody reads resumes anymore, and anyone who says they do, I have a couple of follow-up questions for you.
You're consciously coaching people in conversation.
Yeah.
Are you doing that intentionally?
Yeah, but not before this. but not before this. I have to know that you actually care about me at least a little bit.
Okay. All right.
I got to know. I don't lead with coaching if we don't have a rapport. I mean, why would I tell somebody what to do? You know what I mean? It's like, and I'll go back to what I was saying earlier, which is people don't do things unless they feel things. So we had a personal conversation prior, which led to a more business-related conversation almost immediately. And to me, that's what I think is so critical at in-person events, at networking opportunities, is two things. It's establishing rapport. Find the people that respond to you. I've talked about in my coaching, when you're speaking, watering the plants. Who's looking at you? Who's smiling at you when you speak? Who's acknowledging your presence? If somebody is not paying any attention to you and you've got to go run and sell them, you won't. That's my experience. I'm not telling you what to do. You won't. But, and in the same deal, you know what I think you should do coaching-wise? Like, what the hell? You know, nobody wants that. But the fact is, if they feel that you evoke some sort of emotion, that's why I was saying it might sound philosophical, but when you're in the moment, you know.
It's kind of like, do you ever see Michael Buffer? I think he was hired to do like a snack commercial or something. And it's like, let's get ready to snack or something crazy. And I'm like, man, I'm like motivated to eat a chip. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I'm motivated to eat this chip.
Exactly. Because I feel something. That's really what it comes down. How do you evoke emotion from somebody?
So are you telling me that if I'm about to go into some big thing, right?
Yeah.
And I need Michael Buffer, aka John Duffin.
Yeah.
I can call you and you can get me fired up before I do that.
1,000% yes.
That's pretty cool. I dig
1,000%.
I dig that.
I know I can, and that's weird for me to say. You got to understand. It's funny because I have a difficult time drawing that out of me, which I know sounds odd for a coach, but this is the key to the quote: open and share your gifts. What exactly does it mean? Number one, figure out what it is that makes you unique. Number two, acknowledge the fact that it's you. It's important. Everybody brings something to a party, networking event, conference, sales meeting, pitch, whatever. 3, offer it to the one who acts as if they might want to listen to you. Okay. Throwing it at people like you've got.
And you're looking for certain cues that tell you that.
1,000%.
Okay.
And the cues often are, what's the rapport you have with somebody?
Okay. All right.
Because they're the ones that are going to share a problem or a situation. People don't share problems, situations, challenges with somebody they don't care about. In fact, it feels invasive from my experience.
Okay.
That you don't lead with that. And you wouldn't. Typically, you're at, Chad, I'll ask you, you're at a networking event, right? You go to a ton of them, for God's sake. Mm-hmm. Somebody, typically, you don't say nice to meet you and then fire off an elevator pitch, do you?
Never.
Why?
I won't even mention what I do. I only mention because I wait for them to open the door. I'm more concerned about, I'm more interested in knowing about them. And then if they ever give me the opportunity, I'll tell them in a very elegant, organic, tactful way. But other than that, if they're not going to open the door, I'm not going to tell them.
Great. Nor should you, in my opinion. And it's the same. You don't need to engage with everybody. I found 2 people. Now, this is more from a personal level that we connected. And I'm connected hard in terms of knowing there was some sort of rapport within seconds. And this was at the very beginning.
Kind of like, you ever see Coneheads? Where like you rub the melons, you know what I mean?
My God, but that's a perfect visual, right? Because it's indescribable. Pay attention to that, folks. This doesn't mean go compromise them and sell them. It simply means this is at least somebody. So we've built a great rapport. I think they're 2 of the coolest people, and this happens Tommy Kenyon, who was on the call, you know what I mean, was commenting, which is great, was there. We met on a Zoom thing that happens, right? And then we got to see each other, and then the connection's real.
We met on the Google, the Zoom thing. On the Zoomy.
So, this is where I think there's two things that I'm tying together for me, and as it works for you, which is that, as I said, I
can't. By the way, John, I cannot knock you off today. I've tried so hard. You see that? I'm trying. You're so focused on getting that eloquent, like philosophical, like all that message, and I'm like jabbing, and he's just not taking it, guys. He's just not.
But this is what I was going to say. I understand. It is. I used to beat myself up because I'm not the hard sell person.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to think that wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I built a 30-year career almost in terms of being more than good enough in terms of like from the sales, but I was never that person. Mm-hmm. I was never the one firing off the responses or firing off the objection or, I was never that person.
Well, so but that's what made you so successful, right?
Yeah,
the most successful salespeople in the world are never selling, never selling.
So, folks, you're in the midst of a Monday morning still, right? And for me, it's like, okay, Big Eagles win. Yeah, but they didn't look the X. Big Eagles win. Yeah, but there might be a couple injuries. Oh, yeah, but. Folks, this is where you take opportunities and optimize the situation first, which is number one. Give yourself a little bit of grace, credit, acknowledge what the hell you actually do. Get all the yeah buts out of it. Just take 2 minutes. What the hell are you delivering for somebody in a business or personal, whatever? What do you typically deliver? I'm challenging people that are watching, listening for this reason. I know you know the answer because I know the answer for me. I knew the answer. It's just I had a really hard time acknowledging it. B, when you acknowledge what the hell your skill is, it's really important for you to share it with the right people. We were talking offline. I've had 3 different people in the last 7 days ask me, do I know people that could help them with a situation? Not one of those 3 times, business related. Do you know anybody, John, who would or who could use my services, help me with finding what, the fact of the matter is, I didn't think less of them for asking. Ever. So the sharing the gifts part. Talk to people that you care about. Oh, I don't want to. That embarrasses me. I'm speaking for me. I don't want to tax it. It doesn't mean ram anything down anybody's throat, for Christ's sake. Simply, the third, share the gifts. Let them know what you do. Who do you think I could help? Acknowledge what you got. Give yourself the grace that's like you bring something different to the table. Who relates to you? Talk to them. That dumbed down enough?
Yeah, I'm letting you do your thing, man.
Yeah, they're the 3 basic steps. You know what I mean? Acknowledge that you got something. What is it? Be specific on what it is because you got to explain it to somebody at some point. 3, lean into the people that you care about.
I think helping you think better is the best line I've heard from you since we started this.
I love it. Help you think better, right?
I think that's crystal clear, bro. I do.
It just is, right? You go to another venue. Like I used to overthink that, meaning I only think well if I'm flitting around X country, beach locale, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, everything's becomes so easy. Well, it does. But you can do this anywhere. I found in Columbus, which is a cool place, really a nice, cool place, great opportunity, you know what I mean? But cool people help you think better too. Like-minded people. That was the thing about the event. The number one takeaway. Find the people that have a genuine interest in allowing you to express yourself the way that you express yourself. And it doesn't mean don't accept feedback. It simply means that you know who you lean into. Folks, you just watched a demonstration, which I wasn't prepared for, but I love it, of somebody who cares about me giving very specific feedback. But you take the feedback because they matter. You know they matter. And then it's like, okay, how can I improve, get better? Who do you know that I could speak with? All of that sort of thing. That's the sharing the gifts part. And then charge your worth. Lastly, charge your worth. That was the whole thing with the Jen Sincero with the Badass Book and the Badass Financing. Was simply she was like terrified of, asking for a rate for her first coaching client. She didn't feel like she deserved it. She wasn't ready. She didn't, blah, blah, blah. Hired a coach. Coach suggested a rate. She gave that person a rate. She worked with that client, I believe she said, for 3 years prior to 5 years as a best-selling author on the New York Times and one of the best public speakers in America. Right? So know the gift. What the hell is it that you're offering? Share the gift. Middle step. Find people that you care about. Let them help you. Let them point you in the right direction. Let them help you fine-tune, dumb it down, so to speak. And then share it, right? So that's what I got.
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good too. Folks, if you can get anything from this at all, it's simply this. Know that you got something to offer. Somebody needs it. You're cheating someone if you are not offering your services. You're cheating someone. You probably don't even know who it is that you're cheating. But the fact of the matter is somebody needs you. And that raw enough for you, Chad?
Yeah, pretty much.
Got dangerously close there. But I'm going to say that somebody needs you. Express what it is that you got. Allow the people in your circle to guide you, help you grind it to something specific and clear. That diamond, share it with people. They need you. And that's what I got for today as well, too. I hope that motivates someone.
I'm good, man. I think we're good. Yeah.
I think we did great, brother.
Yeah.
Folks, you just heard another episode of Your Monday Motivation where you get to keep finding us on YouTube and Facebook Live, and we right size and turn around your Monday mornings to make them better, more clear, more energy, more fun, and hell, more productive as a result. Chad Levine, what do we get to do?
Give you your weekly kick in the arse.
Yeah, there you go, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. We will see you soon. Bye.
Peace.